Israel is back to life. We gradually opened all of the economy. Tourism, like in all over the world, was among the industries was damaged the most. The first stage will start on the 23rd of May with only groups of tourists, no more than 20 groups, vaccinated. We're going to start with a limited group of countries in a health condition that we will be less worried about. After about 3 weeks, we will expand this pilot or experiment. July, then we will be the only time when we will start talking about individual tourists. The health ministry in Israel is very strict. The Ministry of Health in Israel is always looking for easy life and for zero risk managing. In my view, Israel needs to exploit this opportunity, this crisis of its being a healthy destination, and to harness it to the benefit of our economy now. We're comparing all the data to 2019, which was the best year in terms of incoming tourists to Israel. And so we had about 4.5 million tourists to Israel. Unfortunately, last year we anticipated an 80% crash. We're talking about nearly a year when Israel was closed for people who are not Israelis. Every tourist will have to be vaccinated. He will have to do a preliminary additional PCR test before going on the plane, and an additional examination, a serological one, of the variants once he lands to Israel. One day the group will be in a hotel, and then they can start their tour as planned. I'm not sure that they will be on the first group of the pilot. I believe that for the first 3 weeks there will be like a limited list of countries that the health ministry will decide upon. There will be an option to widen the amount of countries, and we as the Ministry of Tourism, we will do our best to make sure it will happen. But when we're talking about July and so on, I'm looking forward to see more and more Korean tourists in Israel in the long future. The potential of Korean tourists is enormous and is very significant. We think that Israel is the perfect place to Korean tourists. Korea needs to establish more population who's vaccinated. Our Ministry of Foreign Affairs is working very thoroughly in order to create this mutual agreement in which different countries will be able to validate each other's vaccinated people. The Foreign Ministry signed an agreement such as that with the state of Bahrain, and is working on with other countries, but it is not very easy to accomplish. Insist on it to include vaccinated tourists, and this is, I think, one barrier with many countries. There are many countries that the Foreign Ministry is working with. I know Italy, I know UK. There is no reason why not to do it.